Yeah. And there's a couple guys that are out doing that kind of thing right now, out having fun in the sun kind of a thing.
It's a good time to
Hey, out
vacation.
there in Spray Wash Land. This is Doug Gore with the Spray Wash Academy, and today we're going to talk with Jonathan Maynard. We're going to talk about the huge convention and some things that go along with the huge convention, and kind of what's coming up in the huge convention for 2022, which is going to, it's the one thing I like about the huge convention is that you do start off early enough, right? Because a lot of times some of these conventions, it's like, oh yeah, hey, it's tomorrow. You're like, what? So
Mm-hmm.
knowing in advance, you can start planning in advance. And I think Nashville this year, so it's going to be a
Oh yeah.
good family. If, Correct me if I'm wrong, man, but if you're not taking the time to bring your family either ahead of time or staying longer, you're missing out on half the benefit of it. You know that?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's one of those things. It's sometimes you're having to live your life through your business. And as me as a business owner, I always look at how I can make the most out of expenses and things like that. And if my ticket is paid for through the company and whatnot, then it, the huge is one of those things, especially when it's in Nashville. There's a water park for the kids. There's a spa for the ladies. Our room block. Uh, the rooms are probably 30 to 40% cheaper than you can get them if you just go to the hotel directly. So you're going
Right.
to save a bunch of money on the hotel. And this, I was walking around because we had our admin event there last month, and this hotel is gorgeous. There must be 20 restaurants. It seemed like there was 50 bars, and there's the big atriums and things like that. And there were, there 100 things happening there. It was just a really cool place to have an event, and we're really excited to have it there just because it's central to everybody. You can fly in, and it's one of those that just it's so good. Hey Ray, how's Belize, man?
Yeah, yeah. He's off there having fun. And you know what, Ray? I think I finally figured something out here, and I don't know that. So we don't see all of the comments that happen as they're happening. Okay, so sometimes after the show, we go through and we're like, "Geez, there's all these comments that we didn't see or we didn't." And I think it might have something to do with whichever, like if it's going live on like I see things from my page, Ray sees things maybe from his page, and so I
Mhm.
think that's kind of where some of that's coming from, and I think I'm just kind of figuring that out. So, and
Yeah, technology.
yeah, technology is fun. Technology is fun.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yes, actually, Michael J is popping in and he's saying, don't forget to like and share. Yeah, well, you guys are out there, like it and share it out in the other groups and share it on your personal page and all that kind of fun stuff. And tonight is about the huge convention and what's going to be coming up in the huge convention. And so, Jonathan, take it away. Tell us a little bit about the dates, of course, that we already know, but cover whatever you want to, talk about whatever you want. And let's see what we can figure out from here.
Yeah, so it's going to be August 17th through the 19th. The 17th is going to be our pre-show classes, and then the 18th and 19th are the main convention where we're going to have a general session. We've got the expo, and then before that, vacation with your family. After that, vacation with your family. We've got a pretty good room block open up there, and really we are in the business of educating people. So one nice thing that I've always, and this is coming from somebody who attended Huge for years before buying it,
Yep.
was I liked it because it was an educational thing. The ticket was very low, but I got so much value out of it because I knew going in I was going to learn, and I knew that they weren't going to get me pumped up on dopamine and try to sell me a course or try to sell me a thing that I didn't need. There's always, and we do have a lot of vendors that have very great products, but it's not a pitch fest as much as it is. We bring in guys like Doug. You're going to teach a class specifically to employees where you can bring your employees and they're going to learn. Now, a lot of vendors have products that help out with that learning process, but it's a take it or leave it. We're going to put so much value out there that that you can pick up these golden nuggets. And I took a class from somebody, I don't even remember who it was. And it was a marketing class, and it really changed how we did marketing. And we came back, and this was August of 2018. And August of 2019, a year later, we had added like $250,000 to our top line revenue just based on that marketing. And I was like, that one thing. And I just went, and people like always ask, how'd you grow your business to that size? And I was like, I'm just dumb enough to do what they told me. I'm not smart enough to figure it out on my own. But, Ray would say something, I'd take a nugget. Tanya, she had this whole thing about the butterfly marketing that I talked about. And that was years ago, but we've done that, and we have grown our commercial sales through that. So it's almost a no-brainer coming to an event like this where you're going to get such great value. And we have such great speakers. We've got 2 general sessions this year. So we're going to have some keynote speakers, and then we got breakout speakers. So our keynote speakers are going to be amazing. We had sent out an email. We've announced it. I'm going to be on a podcast with Sid later. We're going to announce it, but I'm going to talk to you guys about that. So I'm really excited about these. The theme for this year is lead the way. And whether you are by yourself or you've got a team, you've got to know how to be a good leader, because you're going to be in front of customers. You are a business owner, and people look up to you. So you're going to be maybe leading your family, leading your friend group, or leading your team of employees, or your one employee. It doesn't matter. You need to really learn how to hone those leadership skills. So we're going to be talking about that. Our first keynote speaker is a guy named Kenny Thomas. Now, when I was talking about the keynote speakers, they're like, well, these guys aren't industry guys. And I said, yeah, that we need to learn from people that are not our industry guys. Now, our industry guys, our industry experts are going to be teaching our breakouts. These are the hands-on how do you tweak your marketing? How do you do this? How do you develop a service manager? How do you be a good service manager? But the keynote speakers are the ones that inspire us and teach us like these golden nuggets that just drop these bombs on us. So Kenny Thomas was an Army Ranger. He served in Mogadishu, was part of the Black Hawk Down mission. He is a leadership expert. And this guy is a powerhouse, and he talks like us. He's blue collar. And he's going to get down, and he's going to give us some very practical things to be a good leader. We've got Hamish Brewer, who is a really good friend of mine. He's from New Zealand, so you're just going to love. He's full of energy. He's like just dynamite on stage, but he's also a leadership expert. Now he comes from a completely different background, where his background's really been about education and things like that. But he knows the few key things that you can implement in your business to be a strong leader. And so we've got him, and we got Hamish, and then we got Josh and Ashley Latimer, who are going to be there, and they're going to teach about family systems and how to lead your family. If you don't have a family, that's fine. Take the nuggets from it and learn from what they've done. And so we've got these really awesome keynote speakers that we're bringing in, and then we've got probably 30 plus breakout speakers. And the cool thing is, we don't charge for the breakout classes. There's nothing weird about it. You just come, you pay. Right now, the tickets are $179. You get there. Pat Clark tells this awesome story about him coming to the conference and sleeping in his van because he couldn't afford it. He couldn't afford to have a hotel room. But he was like, God, I'm going to get down there. If it takes everything I got, I'm going to get down there and I'm going to learn, because I know it's going to teach me something. And look at his business today.
And there are actually a good number of stories that are like that exact same thing, where people have gone with literally nothing, and then you come back and you're like, but one of the parts about that is, if you have to implement, right? That's one of the things I see a lot, where everybody takes all these notes and they do all these things, but then they don't implement, and you have to implement. So just real quick, did you see the message from Scott Davidson? It just says test. Do you both see this?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, so we did see that. All right.
Yep.
Anyhow, and then Ray Burke says, truth, one of the most important skills you can master is leadership skills. And look, if you're not a good leader, it's okay to hire somebody into that leadership role and do those kinds of things. There are plenty of business owners, and I'll dare I say major corporations. They don't lead at all. they're off vacationing or whatever, but they have good leaders in place, right? So, and then there are lots of people in business that just don't lead very well, but they enjoy what they do. So they hire a business manager that helps them lead their crews and do their things that they need to, and their businesses prosper. So one of the things that I'm seeing with the huge, I'm going to say it's almost a little bit of a shift, but I kind of feel like there is a shift that direction, and that is more geared towards not only the business owner, but the growth, of the business. So it's not just about how do you wash; it's about the growth of your business. And when you look at the keynote speakers and this sort of thing that aren't in our industry, you don't have to have somebody in the wash industry to teach you about leadership skills or sales skills or marketing skills. You want somebody that is really focused on that side of the world, if you would.
Yeah. That's a subject matter expert, somebody that can teach you something, because a lot of times we have this thing that we get into this circle, this bubble, and until we reach out of it, it's like we're really siloed in, and we don't understand, that there's other stuff out there, and especially leadership training. It's awesome. Lloyd asked, "What is the Huge Convention?" It's a 3-day event where we get 1,500 people in the same place, and we have a great time. You learn about your business, you learn about yourself, you make great connections. I always tell people a lot of the most fond memories that I have of the Huge is, after the event or in the hallways, talking to people, making those connections, going, what are you doing, and what's working for you, and how's your family? There are guys that I run into every year, and it's like, man, their kids are growing up, and they're growing their business, and it's not about, and I want to say this carefully. If you want to have a $2 million business, that's fine. That's fine. But if you want to have a $200,000 business and you're profitable, whatever you're doing, or if it's side money, whatever you're doing, then this will help you hone those skills to get to where you want to be, not where you think you want to be. That's not rooted in a good decision. Because I'll tell you from experience, $1 million business sucks. It sucks so bad. And you're broke, so, but unless you're hearing that from somebody that's had that experience, that, and that's really where the Huge Convention comes together, because you can talk to people, and, there's going to be guys that are just, guys that you don't want to be around.
Right. But
for the most part, there's solid people there.
You know what? That's another thing about the Huge Convention. A lot of the conventions that are out there, and I'm not dissing on any show, convention, or whatever, period. But a lot of them are free. And I did seem to notice, and Ray and I have talked about this, I think when we went to the show in New Orleans, the first one that I think that both of us had gone to in New Orleans, and the atmosphere was just a little bit different because everybody that was there had paid to go there. And so it just seemed like there was more, there was a lot less, I'll use the word drama, really. A lot less drama inflicting people that were there. They're more focused on their business, and they want to grow and get those nuggets. And, one of the things that I saw as well, and I won't pick on her, even though since I'm saying her, that narrows it down greatly in this industry. But she sat in the corner by herself, kind of a thing. And later on, I think I talked to her about it. And you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. If that's you, that's great. But try to break yourself out of that shell and interact with people. And, people will say, I just didn't want to come up to you, and, this kind of thing. And, man, everybody there is just people. And, we've all been to these different aspects of our business. And this is about you and your business. And if you don't care about you and your business, fine, sit in the corner and do whatever. But this is a golden opportunity when you go to a convention like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I heard this from Josh years ago. He said, "Those who pay attention."
Yeah.
And if you know it's costing you something to be there, then you're going to know that you really have to extract as much value as you can. So, say by the time you buy the ticket and you buy food and you buy your hotel or whatever, it's costing you $700, $800, $1,000 to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, I need to get $10,000 worth of
Worth of
value out of
value.
this. I
And if
need
you don't get
something.
$10,000 worth of value, it's probably shame on you, because there's way more than that, I think. I mean, again, it's the classes and it's the after parties, and even if you don't drink, just still going to them and all that. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of the things. And when you said make a shift, and we are making like a family friendly shift. So if you like to drink, yeah, we got that. If you want to go grab milkshakes, whatever with Kurt, you go, you do that. And that's okay. We've got a big enough place now that we're going to be setting up these different things. We got a bunch of guys coming from Canada, and they're going to have like a little Canadian flag, so you could tell on their badge, like you can go, hey, like you couldn't tell by listening to a talk, but they're going to be able to point each other out. And we're going to be setting that up as, whatever industry you're from is going to have like a little bit of different color on there. So you can go, oh, that's a pressure washer guy, or hey, that's an epoxy flooring guy, or that's a window cleaner. So you can kind of get in there and dig in. And we have a really cool app, and there's going to be ways that you can connect on social there. So if there's a meetup going on or whatnot, or whatever your thing is, people can get together, and really that's where the magic happens. Is those after hours things.
Hey, I'm going to go back to this comment, even though I had it up already. Wallace. So Ray, if you're listening here, take the Bleeze Jungle Tour, and I'll just tell you, Wallace, TJ is with Ray. Believe me, there's a jungle of some kind of weird zoo going on that we don't want to talk about. We don't want the picture. Well, the private picture. Never mind. All right, let me walk away from that.
Yep. Back away slowly.
Let's see who else we got on here conversation wise. Yeah, Mitch is saying Pat Clark. Who dat? Yeah. Who is that?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's going to be there. He's going to be teaching a class. We're excited to have him there. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and I always almost get teary-eyed every time I talk about Pat, because this was a convention back in 2016 when I started my soft wash company, and I didn't know anything, and I went to Pat and I was like, hey, have you ever mentored anybody? And he's like, kinda, I don't know. And I was like, I don't know what this looks like, but let's connect and figure this out. So we ended up doing that. Yeah. I went to a sales boost thing, his first one, and learned a ton there. And I owe a lot of our growth to Pat's just going through the trenches and just teaching. And he's going to deliver that. Perry Tate, gentlemen, how's it going?
Yeah.
It's the pole man.
The pole man, the Simpole man. Definitely the hallway knowledge that you're going to get. And this goes back to the whole bar scenario, or the in-between classes scenario, and the breakfast in the morning scenario, and, the dinners afterwards, and just sitting down. And, I would encourage you, doesn't matter what class you take, doesn't matter, any of that. When you sit down in a class, pull out a business card, hand it to the person on the left, and hand it to a person on the right, and get a card from them. Okay, open a dialogue. That's all you got to do. Just bring enough cards to start passing them around. You'll be surprised at who you end up connecting with, and who ends up that you're mentoring, or that they're mentoring you, or whatever the case may be. And you find out, wow, that's kind of I see this guy on Facebook all the time. I think he's a douchebag. And you find out, man, this guy's really pretty cool, or vice versa. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Confirmed.
Yeah. Big Rob says, I learned a lot last year at the Huge. So glad I will be able to make it. I should. And then he cut off right there. Or maybe it's.
I should buy a ticket tonight.
Yeah, you can buy a ticket tonight, and you can use the discount code SprayWash to get $25 off. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Hint, do it tonight. Raymond Burke says, you may find out the worst thing is growth, and you can be gone. That's true. Sometimes we grow too fast, and
Mhm.
it's a good time to ask those people that have already been past that point, because believe me, there's times when you sit there and you come to a crossroad. You're at one truck, and you get to that crossroad of two trucks, and then you get to the crossroad at three trucks. And there's been some discussions that I saw online about pricing, and man, how do I keep up with these guys and these lowball prices? And some guys are lowering their prices to meet that price point. Well, all that's going to do is put you out of business as well. And I can tell you another thing that I keep seeing a lot of lately is guys that are actually exiting the industry because of all the lowball hacks that are out there. But what they don't get is that's a repeating cycle, right? You're always getting them coming and going, the ebb and the flow of it. And you have to understand that, realize that. And, a convention like this can help you just talking to other people that have already been through that, right? And already know. And you hear it all the time online where guys like me and Jonathan and Ray might say, ignore the price. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. But then when you get to meet somebody in person and they can just drive it into you as to why, and maybe go to some of the classes, maybe there's a marketing class that you can go to, something that will help you learn. Like, again, I'll do a class to teach towards lead techs and things of that nature. So bringing them in to help you meet those goals and how you can set customer expectations, and those things can help you grow your business instead of making you fail in business. Because I think sometimes guys are pushing too hard and then they crumble.
Yeah. And it's really through those conversations, you have a very good understanding on the why do you want to get to, why do you want to have 4 trucks, and a lot of times it's an ego thing, and not like a bad ego thing, but it's like, I want to be significant. I want to mean something. And so if I know that I've got trucks on the road and people are seeing it, and that tells my family that I'm successful, that tells my friends and neighbors that I'm successful. And I think I learned that, probably the hard way, that really doesn't mean success. That can be even a bigger struggle.
One of the things about that, along that line, you can either go to 4 trucks, 5 trucks, 6 trucks, right? Or you can stay at 2 and raise your prices, right? If you have so much business that you can go to 3 and 4 trucks, then maybe you have enough value that you can just raise your prices, work half as much, stay with 1 or 2 trucks. And now let's talk about how do you measure success? Do you measure success by, hey, you know what? I did $1 million this year. I took home 10,000, but I did $1 million. Or do you say, you know what? I did $250,000 this year and I took home 180, right? So, you can define your success in that fashion, to where now you have money for freedom to go to Belize, or to do whatever it is that you want to do, and buy that hot rod or buy that boat, or, whatever it is, vacation with your family, do those sorts of things. Sometimes some of the guys that you go and you see at the convention are serial conventioners, right? They can go to these conventions all the time because they have the freedom to do that within their business because of the conventions that got them to that point to do it, just like you were saying.
Yeah, it is good. And the nice thing about having the stuff for the employees now is we changed our pricing model this year, where right now tickets are $179. They're going up May 1st, but you can bring, and this is if you buy a ticket now or at the show, once you pay your regular full price ticket, if you bring any of your employees, they're $125. And if you want to bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees, it doesn't matter. They're all $125, because we know that bringing your employees changes something.
Absolutely.
And I got this comment. I brought 3 of my employees last year, and they all of them had the same thing. They said, really great conference. We got some nuggets here and there, but I don't know if it was speaking directly to us. And I was like, well, we're going to change that for next year. So it's going to be very directed towards them. My sales and marketing manager, she, when sales marketing class. It was directed towards her for sure. But the technicians were just like, I mean, I got something, but I didn't feel like I walked away with, because they don't care about marketing. They don't care about, business growth and development from a high level standpoint. They just want to know, how do I be a better person? And then this year with Lead the Way, we're going to, they can learn those leadership nuggets in the general session.
Yeah, and I think
lay a good foundation.
Yeah. And, it's also important for them to see, that if there's a future there or if there's not a future there. And, a lot of times using a company as a stepping stone. And for me, if your company is ran by a leader, a good company, a good person, they're going to want to help you, even though they're helping you out the door of their business. They're helping you in the growth of life and these sorts of things, and in your prospering. There's no way you can go wrong in doing something like that. People worry about, but I got to do this to keep them down so they can't go anywhere else. And they're so worried about them going somewhere else. And man, if you treat them right, they will go eventually.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they'll stay because of the atmosphere that you're providing for them.
Yeah. I still do our company's new employee orientations. And I tell them, I said, look, it's my job as the owner to make sure that when you leave here, and I'm under no false impression that you're going to retire here. It's not the way the world works now. But when you leave here, you're a better person. I've helped you with personal finances. We have a thing called Smart Dollar that's an app, and we pay for that for our people. We have leadership books, as many as they want to read, we give them to them. Different things that we have set up in our company, things that I learned at the Huge, that when they do leave, they're going to be better off. They're going to be better people, and they're always going to remember, because guess what? They've had crappy bosses, and they're going to have crappy bosses in the future. Exactly. If you can be that one shining light of a not a crappy boss, then it's a win for them, and you've impacted their life in a way that they can't imagine.
It's something I'll always remember. The night before I sold my company, one of my guys came to me and I just out of the clear blue, because I hadn't said anything except to one guy there, and so he apparently leaked a little bit, I think. But he said, "Boss, you're not planning on selling the company, are you?" And this was just out of the clear blue, and it's the night before, And I just said, "Well, I mean, because I don't lie to him," and I said, "Well, I mean, what if I did? What does that matter?" Kind of thing. He goes, "Well, I'd quit." And I said, "Why would you quit?" And actually I'd had my feet kicked up on my table as end of the day and all that. And then I took my feet down and, I'm thinking, so why would you quit? And he's like, "Well, boss, I mean, just the way you treat us and the way things are." And he's, nobody would give him a chance. And I gave him a chance within the company, kind of a thing. And one of the best techs I've ever had. And, so I told him, "So you quit." And why? Because you're not going to be working for me as a good boss, right? Okay. So if you quit here, where are you going to go? I don't know. I'm gonna find another job. And you're going to get what? Another boss. So if you trust me enough, wait and give this person if I were to sell the company, give this person a chance, because you got to go look for a new boss anyhow. And it was a good thing for me to see that, they respected me that much that they would, quit. And then again, that they would end up staying because they trusted that I would do the right thing for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael's asking, what are the dates for the Hugeness? And again, it is August 17th, 18th, and 19th. Pre-show classes on the 17th. And then who are all the pre-show classes? Do we know?
We've got 2 of them so far, for sure, booked and locked and loaded. One, Spray Wash Academy. You guys are going to be doing plant and property protection and also basics. I am sending several of my employees to that just to learn. And they've been through the material, they know the material, but it's always good to have them in there. And you guys have got a crazy deal going on. I'm sure you'll post a link up here, and it's going to be on our website. I sent it over to our web developer. They're going to be getting that on there. Shout out
It is a crazy
marketing,
one, by the
who's
way.
doing our website for us. Yeah, I looked at it. I was like, "Is that a typo? I better hit buy now before before they figure that out." But so
Yeah.
we've got that one, and then Howard Partridge is going to be doing his boot camp again. So it's going to be limited to 50 people in that one. It's the basics of how to run a successful business. So he's got 5 different sessions he's going to teach. And the link is also going to be on thehugeconvention.com once the web developer gets that on. The plan was to have everybody on there by May 1st, and we're going to hit that goal probably a week sooner, so that you guys will know, obviously, who the speakers are, what their titles, what the titles of their sessions are, and then also our breakout speakers. The schedule's been on there for a while, which is pretty simple. General session in the morning, and then we've got the trade show and the breakout classes that happen after that, and then the next day is kind of repeated the same thing, and then we end the conference. We got giveaways and things like that. So it is. I'm just excited about what this conference is going to be, and how it can really just impact your business and change your life. We've got so many cool things planned. Even in the expo, this year we're doing something called Lighting World. A lot of guys want to get into low voltage lighting. So we've got a little section carved out where we're going to have some manufacturers. We're going to have some people that deal specifically in low voltage lighting. So maybe you've got a wash company that you want to, get through the winter. For those of us that are up where it gets cold, that's one of the things. Christmas lights are a great way to do that. But then you can also get into low voltage lighting, landscape lighting, or permanent install holiday lighting, whatever it is. So we're going to have a little section tucked away for that. Power Wash Store's got a giant booth there. We're excited about having those guys, and just all of our vendors. And it's stuff, and it's not just people, just trying to sell you something. It's people that are providing a lot of value and things that you normally don't see. We've got a company coming in that's it's called Bancorp, and they do SBA loans and financing. So they can look at it and go, okay, you need some money for some capital improvement, but maybe you don't have perfect credit. So let's figure out how to get you an SBA loan and get you qualified for that. So let's take you through the process, and they get paid, on the interest or whatever. So you're not going to have to spend $500,000 to have somebody tell you what you need to do. They're going to walk you through that process. And we've got a lot of, how to, so if you need another product or something that's going to work out. So great vendors.
I'm going to disappear for 1 second.
The phone is ringing. Leads are
there
coming
you go.
in.
I don't know who it was, but
so
I got it off. Sorry about that.
Hey,
yeah.
No worries. So we're excited about the trade show because there's so much going on there and so many cool things that you can see. I think last year, and they may be coming back this year, a giant roof cleaning drone. Maybe that's your thing. But if anything, it's kind of cool to see that sort of stuff and like the new technologies that are coming out.
Yeah.
Power Wash Store brings their entire fleet of all the things, and whether you need hoses or chemicals or something like that. The nice thing is you can have industry experts there that you can ask, hey, I've got this thing and I don't know how to deal with it. I've got oxidation on houses and I don't know how to get that, removed. How do I do that? And they're like, oh, well, we've got these 3 products.
Well, the Power Wash Store, I found out, or I believe, is supposed to be bringing their entire development team. Didn't know if you knew that.
No.
That's Tim Hazelton, by the way.
Okay, well, that'd be nice. We'll see Tim.
Ray popped back in and said you can find out you can make substantially more money by cleaning up around the margins, make more by doing the same gross. And that is a fact. These are things that you can learn at the huge convention, even if you continue the growth of your business, right? And increase your gross, but you can have more profit within whatever gross amount that you're at just by implementing some of the things that you'll learn at the huge convention. And I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan Platt is actually, I think he's going to be teaching a class on that. So what we call it is Thieves in the Storehouse. are there subscriptions that you have? Check your credit card statements, guys. If there are recurring subscriptions that you're not using, hit those. Yeah. Get rid of them. Nikki Williams, the whole Bird Flow team will be there. Oh yeah, those guys are awesome. I got on a call with them the other day, and I was blown away at just the amount of insight that they have. And I was like, you guys got to speak. So we've got a couple of them that are actually going to be speaking and just helping out with, just business processes, things like that.
I'm going to jump through some of the comments here because I'm getting way, way, way behind. A maple syrup bar question.
Oh, that's for the Canadians.
Yes, that is for the Canadians because there's a bunch of Canadians coming down. Let's see. Alan Paul says they better bring a few cases of Crown Royal. So this is how far behind I am. That we're Canadians. Now we're catching up with the Canadian conversation. Yeah. And then Cello Gents from Tom Jerk. And Mr. Charles, we were talking about you earlier, and I believe that you've got a new email in there to get you straightened away and figured out and all that kind of thing. I think there was just a little mix up there that you should be handled. So let us know if
check your email. If you don't have it, email me, Jonathan@thehugeconvention.com. I'll take care of it.
Jonathan@thehugeconvention.com. MTH says, what up, all? Perry Tate popping in again saying, growing too fast is dangerous, if not more than shrinkage. Cash is king and growth takes cash. That's true. And especially if you need another truck and you got to look at, I need the truck, I need the hoses, I need the pumps, I need the squeegees, I need this, I need that, and I need the employees, which means I need the taxes. And then all these things are things that you have to think about when you're looking at that growth. I would dare say that it's easier to say, I want $100 more for this job than it is to launch another truck.
Oh yeah.
Raise your prices a little bit. And then if you're capturing it makes it that much easier even to launch another truck.
Hey, personal story here, man. I opened a whole new location, bit me in the butt. Pull me aside at the Huge. I'll tell you all about it. Growing too fast it'll kick you in the butt.
It can certainly do that. And a lot of times I think people they're turning dollars. They're not thinking about the raising of the prices really. And they hear it all the time, but they're not doing it. And then, they sit back and they're like, man, I'm going so fast. I'm going so fast. And this is what we were talking about earlier where, I need to launch another truck. I need to launch another truck. No, you need to look at your margins at that point. Especially if you're below 25%, right? Maybe start looking at your margins at that point and saying, hey, can I get this up to 30, 35%? Find out where you can get your margins up to. And I'm just using those as numbers, but see if you can get your margins up a little bit higher instead of trying to launch another truck, which costs you what? More cash.
Right? A whole lot more cash, yeah. And a nugget here for you guys. It used to be where you needed to raise your prices once a year. We're in almost hyperinflation. You need to be looking at your pricing every quarter right now.
Yeah.
In spring, if you're in spring and it's your busy season, Florida guys, their busy season's opposite of ours. Surge pricing for spring. Tack on an additional 10% because the leads are coming in. The work is coming in. So you might as well make hay when the hay is good. And in the summertime, then if you got to back it off a little bit, and in the fall, same thing. Bring your prices back up. But you need to look at it quarterly. It's not a once a year thing right now, not in this current environment.
Well, even when we talk about pricing and stuff and people say, well, yeah, but I'm not going to get that price in this market or whatever. Sometimes you think about it and you say, okay, well, you can still raise your prices. And then you go and you're pitching to this Jonathan guy and Jonathan just says, well, that's too much money or, I wasn't planning on spending that amount on that. Then take that opportunity to maybe move that person into your slow time when you normally don't have any business. Like it's towards it. We can work year round in the South here, but there are still those months where I try not to really book too much because it's, just the way that the weather is. We never know, right? But I could take that person that, is maybe being a little bit more price conscious, say, well, you know what? I can honor that price if you're willing to do it January 3rd. Well, that's 8 months away. Well, yeah, but If you want to do it then, I'm happy to accommodate you. So think about those kinds of things. You can do that. Michael J says we're at 2 rigs and a van now, and I can't wait to be just doing sales and management. Dude, that is completely up to you. You know that, Michael. You can walk away from that truck virtually anytime and start doing your sales and management side of it. Believe in your techs, teach your techs well enough to do that. Allow them to go off on their own. How I did that personally was I would start off with, I would teach them. And then I got to the point where I would go with them in the truck, and I would sit in the truck on the computer, and I would do estimates, and I would do this, and I would do that. That way I was there, but I wasn't doing anything. And I would tell them, I'm doing nothing. I'm watching you, and I'm here for your questions. But aside from that, I'm done. It's on you. And then I would do a walk around, like during their little lunch break or at the end or whatever, and critique and go over it. And that's how I was able to take myself off of the truck with guys that I knew could do the job while I was out there. Big Rob says, MTH, you were right. The hardware store had the hose I needed today. Awesome. That's the point of the huge convention right there. Okay. That really is the point of the huge convention. These guys are working together. And when you go to the huge, you meet other contractors that you can talk to, and talk to the guys in your area, meet guys from your area, and connect and go have a beer together and find out that they're not that bad, and that you guys can work together and talk together, and you guys can do things to help each other out in your own marketplace.
Yep.
Let's see. Jacob is on here. Good evening, Mr. Jacob. Let's see. Curtis Turner says, I would love a way to tell what state or region each attendee is from. There's one for you. Something like the background pic on the ID or a certain color lanyard makes it easier to network with people that are more local. That is an absolutely awesome comment, Chris. What do you think about that, Mr. Jonathan?
That's easy to do. Because we have their state. Maybe we break them into some regions, and we can order some different color lanyards, and that's actually really good. We'll give the red ones to the Canadians because that's what you do. But but we could. That's a great idea. Or
could you?
Go ahead.
Could you, when you're like printing out Doug Gore, you print out a picture of the state of Louisiana behind him, kind of a thing?
That might be hard to do because. Yeah, the state may be harder to do because we could actually put the state on there. We've got a whole new system this year, so there's no more pre-printed badges. So what you do is you go up and you're going to have a thing on your phone, or you could type in your name, and it's going to print that badge for you right there. Real nice badge that you drop in the lanyard, so that there's no handwritten badges or wasted badges. Last year, we actually ended up, I think, double printing everybody's badge. It was really weird. So this year we're going to have that. So it may be difficult to do that, but we could actually probably
set that up to also to put their state on there as well.
We could probably print the state on there. The picture of it might be difficult, but yeah, print it and then the color lanyard so you can see him at a distance. Go, oh, that guy's got a blue lanyard. He's also from the Mid-Atlantic like me.
Yeah, exactly. The color of the lanyards might be a great start for this year, especially because that way you're right. You could do a north, south, east, and west, and Midwest, kind of a thing, or whatever kind of a thing. That's a great one there, Chris. Thank you. Let's see. MTH is saying good stuff. Sean Gross, not sure who that is. Glad to see you back in the industry, Sean. Glad to see you. Glad to see you piping up again. Anyhow, Sean says the huge is aptly named. It's where you'll find the most like-minded individuals and business education in one spot. I agree with that. Definitely good to see you back in here, and that's what we're talking about, right? So again, huge convention is August 17th, 18th, and 19th. 17th is the pre-show. Classes. 18th and 19th are the breakout sessions, and great lineup of speakers. I'm going to try to go ahead and skip through some more of these real quick. Raymond Burke says, measure by comparing money versus month. Need more money than days in the month.
That works for personal finances too.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And you'll learn little tips and tricks and nuggets again just by talking to the people that are there, they can tell you even how to keep more money. There are ways to keep more money. There are ways of doing that. You know, you don't have to get yourself all taxed to death. There are ways of doing that. Jeremy Brooks says, especially when shirtless soft washing Raymond Burke in his yellow boots. There you go. Good to see you, Jeremy. Austin says, good evening, guys. Hey there, Austin. And Michael says, thank you again. Perry Tate saying, I was blown away recently when our staff arranged their own family barbecue together. That's awesome. They like each other so much. We put that down to our 6-hour recruitment process. That is an excellent idea. And it's good to see when you get your employees that are doing things together, sharing things together, and bring them to the convention with you. The first interviews are all, will they fit in with the team psyche before we even consider their skill set? Awesome.
Yeah.
Hello, guys, coming from Wash Pro. Alan Paul is saying that's very interesting since I want nothing to do with Christmas lights, but low voltage is a possibility. And there's the difference. So I'm assuming low voltage could also, it's not just going to be Christmas lights, or is it just going to be Christmas lights?
No. So imagine event lighting. There's a lot of people during the summertime. That's when our slow season is. But guess what? Everybody's getting married. And all these women see this Pinterest thing with all these lights. We did one wedding, I think it's 2 years ago, and they spent $15,000 on the lights. Now, we already own them. They were Christmas lights that we had, but we went out there, wrapped the trees, put up bistro lights and stuff like that. They loved it. It was a 2-day thing. And, we're in and out, and you can make money doing event lighting, which is also low voltage. Or everybody, they like to have their house lit up, and you can do the can lights around the house, and that's
walkway lighting, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And Ray is piping in to say, well, Tim and Ray, and what he's referring to is the development team, the entire development team there at the Power Wash store. But Ray, if I mention that it's you on any of this, you're too sexy, and guys are not going to want to show up because they feel inferior to your sexiness. That's it. And don't start showing pictures of TJ. All right. Andrew Snyder says, will anybody be teaching how to sharpen a chainsaw?
I don't think so. I could. I know how to do it, but I don't know anybody else.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Power Wash Bros highly recommend the huge convention. Crown Royals Special Reserve is what he's looking for. There you go. Wash Bro says, yes, sir. Got an email. Thank you. I bought 3 tickets at last year's convention for this year. One for me, my partner, and employee. Are you saying I only needed 1? No, that's not what he's saying. You still needed 3.
Yeah. And if you bought them at last year's convention, then you got the deal. So,
because I think those were cheaper than the 125 is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what he's saying right now is that if you buy a ticket, and tickets are going up when?
May 1st.
May 1st.
They're going to $199.
What?
Yeah. $199.
What is it? $129?
$179 right now.
Uh-huh.
They may go up to $229. I got to check, because in my brain I was like, yeah, I think it's $199. I think they might go up to $229. But we're trying to get
all the employee ones are $125 no matter
always will be $125. You buy the first one at full price, and then you can buy the others. And then we have a VIP for $399, which is actually a really cool thing, because you get some priority seating, you get some swag that nobody else gets. So right at the front, the room is huge. And so there's going to be some tables at the front that are roped off. Yeah, huge. And then you get some swag, and you get invited to there's a VIP breakout thing, which is really cool, where if you want to be on a hot seat, you can do that. So super, super awesome stuff.
Awesome. Let's see. Tom saying too much is not always a good thing. We are steady at Chicagoland Soft Wash because we aim for quality and not quantity. And that, my friends, is the way to build a solid foundation for your business. Build your business for tomorrow and not for today. I always say that. I love that. If you're building for today and just for beer money, hey, you might as well build for tomorrow and still have more beer money.
Better beer.
Yeah. Wesley saying, from a business standpoint, there seems to be an exceptional value in the convention. Just in what y'all are presenting here today, the knowledge you are imparting upon us is golden. Thank you for what you do. You are so super welcome.
You're welcome.
And I'm glad that you're going to be going to the Huge and enjoying the Huge. It was true. All conventions were really good for my business. The Huge was it was huge for my business, right?
Yeah.
Again, learning and talking and teaching. And, sometimes you'll see some of the same faces in that, but there's a reason that some people come back. And then there's always new things. And, the trade show floor where you get to see the new inventions and the new stuff. And you're like, how can there be new inventions in this industry? There's new things that come out. There's better ways of doing things. There's just all kinds of stuff that you get to learn, see, feel. Sometimes people ask questions and they're like, online meaning, and they don't really get it. And then you're there and you're at the Power Wash store booth and you're like, man, what is a comet? And then you're able to sit down with the Power Wash store guys and look over that equipment and understand that equipment before you even ever make a purchase. Not to mention, a lot of times there's deals to be made there.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Wash Pro is saying hello, Michael. Let's go. Don't try to sell price. Focus on selling value. Absolutely. If you're selling on price, you are absolutely going the wrong direction. My opinion is you are your own worst enemy when you're selling on price, and you're the guy that's typically complaining about price. I don't care about price. Period. The problem is when a company has 10 trucks, they undercut everyone else because they have volume. So when I quote a $10,000 job and they come in at 3, it's hard to combat this. Absolutely, that can be. And that sometimes, and this is part of what we're talking about, I'm not saying this about the company that you're talking about, but sometimes because you have 10 trucks, you feel like I got to keep all these guys busy, and you're cutting your numbers. The profit margin of that business owner isn't all that great. So let me ask you this, Tom, just to have it there. Would I rather have 10 trucks out and make $500 a day, or would I rather have 2 trucks out and make $500 a day, or maybe $1,000 a day, or maybe $1,500? You see where I'm going with that? So sometimes you already know the cost of running a business. And so if he's that low, he's cutting his own numbers, right? He's the one that's not making the kind of money that you can be making. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Michael's great information, Doug. Thanks. I appreciate you, just so you know. Sean's back at it saying Jacob Dell won't be there. Yeah, he may. He'll be there. Maybe. I don't know if he'll be there this year. Let's see. Wesley saying, how about putting the state flag or something like that? Maybe even just as a thought, a little secondary lanyard. Maybe, that you just, with a
ribbon,
and you just, anybody can pick your state, put it on, and just as a thought.
Yeah.
Chris, as a follow-up to my earlier comment about regions, I think the first breakout sessions should be all based on regions. Every region has different needs and issues. Great way to meet your regional people. I don't know that you could really do that, but I'll let that one go to you, Jonathan.
We can't do the breakout sessions, but we will have social events. So maybe we can plan these out. Hey, all the guys from Mid-Atlantic are going to meet at this particular restaurant. And there's 20 restaurants, and they're all within the whole compound. I call it a compound. It's huge. But that way you don't have to leave. You get there, and you don't have to go anywhere.
Maybe as a thought during or right near the end of the intro, right? Maybe then you say, okay, everybody from the southern region, if you've got a blue lanyard, how about you head out first, and then eastern region head out second, or maybe some just thoughts. I mean, I like the idea of being able to meet and greet in your local region. I think that's a really good idea.
100%.
How do you configure proper pay for an employee?
Pay them as little as possible. No, I'm kidding. That's terrible advice.
And give them no benefits.
Yeah, no benefits. No, what really, and this we're not going to get too much into the weeds with this, but you have to look at what your COGS are. So the COGS are cost of goods sold, and you're going to look at a couple different things. You're going to figure out what it takes in your region or your area to pay a technician. There are some areas where $15 an hour is great, and there are some areas where you can't find guys for $20, $25 an hour. So your pricing has to reflect that. But you do have a labor pool that is generalized, and that's what it is. But you need to get your prices to a point that can sustain employees. And I made this mistake when I first started my business because it was just me. And it was me in my garage, and I parked, my trailer in there, and I left, and my prices were this. But the problem is I didn't expect, okay, now I got to pay people. And then as we grew, now I got to pay managers. So we had to overcome some pretty big price hurdles. If you're priced like you have, middle management from the get-go, you're going to be super profitable at the beginning, but then you have room to grow. So proper pay for an employee is, what's it going to take to hire quality employees? So maybe that is $15 an hour. Start posting some ads, and you're going to get response, and you're going to see what kind of labor pool you have out there. And then there's all kinds of costs you don't expect. There's matching FICA, there's taxes, there's benefits, there's a lot of things that you don't think about that you're going to have to really dig in and figure out. This is something. If you want to reach out to me, find me, Instagram, Facebook, Jonathan Maynard. I'd be happy to jump on a call with you and help you through that. That's kind of a big rock to handle in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, same here. And one of the things I'll say on that is, one of the ways that you can help us, ascertain what the value is in the area. Look, call McDonald's, find out what their starting wages are, right? Because you're going to know if their starting wage is $12.50 an hour, you can't start your guys at $12.50 an hour because they can go work at McDonald's for that, right? Call some of the local heating and AC companies. You don't even have to call them. You can look online nowadays, go to Indeed, whatever.
Yeah,
and then just look at the different pay grades and pay rates that are being given out for the different professions and say, you know what, this kind of correlates with what I do. And remember, if you pay somebody, well, and expect it out of them, don't give it to them, right? They have to work for it. And if they're not working out, cut them loose, but build that. And that's one of the ways to do it. We're starting to run low on time. Let me finish these up real quick. Good night, guys. Appreciate that. Time to get back to work. Let's see. They're technically not on the books, but would my sugar babies be considered employee pricing? I could bring 2 or 3, or hell, I can bring like 10 and share them. Sugar babies.
Yeah. Hey, man, they're 125.
Bring them all. Let's go that way. All right. Let's see. Tom says 2 trucks is good enough for me, Dougie Do. I'm telling you what, that seems to be a good sweet spot. I like that myself. Let's see. Jeremy Main will be there.
Jeremy, what's going on, man?
Gene O'Neill has stepped into the house. What up, gentlemen?
Hey.
Saying I'm thinking about going, not sure yet.
We'll have good food there, Jacob.
What's what?
I said we'll have good food there.
Yeah, good food. And yeah, what's stopping you from going, Jacob? Come on. It's in your neck of the woods, right? Now, kind of thing. It's going to be right there, right out your back door. Michael says, I'm in Florida. Florida. What about family members, spouse, and children?
Yeah, if they're going to be attending general session, stuff like that, grab them a lanyard and whatnot so they can get in, so they can get into the trade show. But if they are just going to go there, they're going to hit the spa, stuff like that, don't worry about buying them a ticket, because the lanyard just gets you into the sessions, but they can cruise around that entire resort and, man, hit that water park, hit the spa, golf, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm. It's a really good time to bring family and just that's what this is all about, right? You're growing your business to support your family. And if you're not, or support yourself and, eventually a family, whatever the case may be. So when you go, use that time to spend with your family, but and after hours, before hours, and then either before the huge or after the huge, one or the other. Spend that time. It was a bit sketchy going anywhere in Atlanta. Nashville will be so much better.
It was a little stabby down there last time.
Yeah. So anyhow, Josh will be reaching out to you.
Perfect.
Let's see. Ola Jacob, he's too sexy. Raymond will be jealous. There you go. Only issue is school starts before the convention, so he might be in the area. Yeah.
Making an educational trip.
Absolutely. See what you can do. So again, we're gonna end it up here pretty quick. As a reminder, huge convention is going to be August 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's going to be the pre-show classes on the 17th, then the breakout classes and all that on the 18th and 19th. And Jonathan, you were saying something about VIP stuff. Anything else you want to throw out there, or what do you got going on?
So if you go to thehugeconvention.com, you can click get a ticket. We're doing something special. So if you use code SprayWash, you get $25 off. If you buy in the next 72 hours, I know I told you 24, but I was like, people watch this on replay, so let's do 72 hours. If you buy by Wednesday evening, we're going to pick one person that uses that SprayWash code to get a free VIP upgrade. But if you're looking at it and you're like, man, I'm willing to drop $3.99 on that, and we choose your name, we're just going to refund you the difference. So if you get in there and you're like, yeah, I definitely want to go, and this VIP looks awesome. We only have 100 VIP seats. We're going to have 1,500 people there. So get that, because once they're gone, they're gone. But we're going to choose one person, and we're going to give you that VIP upgrade, because that's how much Spray Wash means to us, and I know how much they give back to the community of washers, and we're happy to give the $25 off to anybody that's in the Spray Wash family, and we'll get you. Are rooms available at convention pricing now? Yes. If you go to thehugeconvention.com and scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a get a room button there. Also, when you do register, you're going to see a link in there as well that'll get you that. So I think the rooms are $239 a night, and they're normally like $400. That place is it's very expensive to stay there, but it's that nice. So they got us a really good deal for the $239, which is unheard of in Nashville.
And don't let the price, if you're newer to the industry or whatever, and you're like, man, $239 a night, I can't afford that. Maybe you could split that with somebody else. Just think about that. Even staying off property. It's better if you stay on property, but I'm just saying you can maybe split that with somebody else. I know I've done that at conventions where, you know what, money's a little bit tighter. Let me go ahead and shake it up and split this with somebody else, and split cab fares and Uber fares and all that kind of fun stuff as well. So don't forget about that.
Yeah. And there are some places that are right off property that are less expensive. You got to walk over, or you have to Uber, but yeah.
Sean, you forgot to use the Spray Wash code. We were talking about that earlier. There's a lot of people that do that, I think, but it is what it is. So, and you can still buy the VIP pass. And if you win the drawing, then boom, they'll just refund that for you.
Mm-hmm.
But Sean, you're also a special kind of special. Take advantage of that room block from Raymond Burke. Gaylord is top notch, and Jacob Dell says, I am going. And with that, we will bid y'all an adieu. If you'll hang on once we check off here, Mr. Jonathan, we'll chat for just a few minutes. But hey, really appreciate y'all for listening to us here this evening. And again, see you at the huge convention, August 17th, 18th, and 19th. Give a big round of applause and a thank you to Mr. Jonathan. And appreciate y'all. And WD's out of here.
Thanks, guys.